Hi friends, it's Sarah, the owner and maker behind Multifarious Nature. Thank you so much for joining me again. If you are a returning viewer, and if you're a new viewer, welcome back. I'm glad you guys are here for another episode. So I've got all kinds of fun things to talk about. It's kind of like the floating head. I moved you a little bit closer. We're still using my new camera. Hopefully I'm not yelling. I did test the recording and the volume is very sensitive now, and so I'm going to try to talk a little quieter, just the opposite. I've been always trying to talk louder. Now I'm going to try to talk a little bit quieter just so that I'm not yelling at you guys. I know you can adjust your volume down on your computer or whatever you're watching this on, but it was really loud when I did my recording, so I'm really hoping I'm not yelling at you. That would not be a pleasant experience for anybody. So yes, it's a little bit closer because I wanted to get my background here. Bear with me, I gotta shut my door. I totally forgot to. Okay, there we go. Continuing on. All right. So my works in progress end of things here. We've got, actually we'll do shop update first. So I'm working on that Dorset horn. It is a work in progress. I've been trying to work on it after work this week to try to get that done. So hopefully in the next 2 weeks, I don't think it's going to happen this week, but in the next 2 weeks, hopefully that will be going live. But definitely make sure you're subscribed to the newsletter because then you'll be the first to find out about that when that gets listed. And there'll be more things coming to the shop in the near future, but it is a slow and steady process. So trying to work away at it as quickly as I possibly can. But yeah, life has been hectic. And I primarily work on Multifarious Nature production work on Fridays. But this past week, I've been trying to do some in the evenings after work. I don't have a lot of time I can dedicate towards that, but I do try my hardest. So thank you for bearing with me. Now we'll get into the works in progress end of things. So I worked on a couple projects this week. Actually started a new project, and I'll talk about that as well. Because I started working with some handspun, and I'm really excited about it. So I'm wearing, you can barely see it because I'm so close to the camera, but this is my, what is it called? No, not foundation. Yeah, Resource Raglan, the Resource Raglan by Sarah Opie. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the designer. And it's using Woolberry's Advent. It was like a winter box. It's not really an advent, but winter box from, I think, 2 years ago. And I really like the way it turned out. I have to laugh because I don't know what I was thinking. My sleeve is shorter. This sleeve is shorter. It's a whole repeat shorter. Luckily, I still have this color, so I'm going to actually pull it aside to specifically finish the sweater off. So I have to undo my bind off and then extend that sleeve so that it's not so much shorter. I mean, it's a whole repeat shorter. It's kind of ridiculous. I honestly don't know how that happened. I forgot to bring something to drink again. Typical. I always feel like I'm in a little bit of a rush to get this recording done because we have a lot of chores and stuff we do around the property and with the animals and everything, on top of the fact that I need to get stuff done for Multifarious Nature, like production work. So I always feel like I'm on the run. So if I am talking really fast and things like that, I try to be mindful of that. Yeah, I feel like I rush through a lot of things these days. I think sometimes there's different seasons of our life, and the season of our life right now, I feel like I'm constantly trying to rush through things. Anyway, so we'll try to take our time and focus on the projects, shall we? Okay, so the one I worked on, and I have to laugh again, this needs to be, I think I need to rip back because it's pretty silly, the mistake I made. So I was working on my, not my foundation, all kinds of things here to show you guys. This is Andrew Mowry's framed sweater. So it's the framed sweater, and I totally forgot that I needed to switch back the needles. So when I bound off my sleeve, I took the needles that were here and I decided to start knitting the sleeve. And I totally forgot that the colorwork section of this sweater is a different needle size. I don't know how I forgot that, but I did. I discovered it. I've only gone this far, like, I don't know what you want to call that, like an inch or so. But I do feel like it's going to be a significant enough difference in fit. I could try it on and see, but I kind of feel like it's not that far for me to just rip it back and start over. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Honestly, that's what I'm going to do. So it's a little frustrating because it's half a repeat. Or I guess it's not even half the repeat. It's a quarter of the repeat. So really, it's not that much that I have to rip back. But it's frustrating because it was just an oversight of being silly and going fast. So I just have the one sleeve left to do, and then this frame sweater will be done, which I'm really excited. It has hand-spun CVM. This is from, oh goodness, I'm really usually good about this. My brain's a little foggy right now. I've got my colorway Cherry Hill for the framed portion, and then this is Crazy Yarn by Stonehenge Fiber Mill, and that's what this fun color changing color is. So I'll hide my face so you can see it. But it's really pretty. I'm just having fun with it. It looks a lot like a scrappy quilt. So I worked on that a little bit on the weekend, and then my primary knit during the week on my lunch breaks was my half and half triangles wrap by Pearl Soho is the designer. So that is what this one is. And I'm using all kinds of colorways. This one is my Winter's Coming colorway. And it's just really fun. I'm using all kinds of remnants of wool or skeins that I had that I just didn't know what to do with that were kind of smaller size skeins, like 50-gram skeins and things like that. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think it's just a lot of fun. If you've never done the half and half triangles wrap, I definitely recommend it as a fun, relaxing, meditative knit. It's very meditative. Obviously, you know, with any knitting, you have to think to an extent, of course, but when you get used to it and you have that muscle memory doing garter stitch, where you're knitting on one side and knitting on the other, it's so relaxing. I just love it. I love it so much. So I worked on that one quite a bit. I progress literally like an inch. I really didn't get a lot of knitting. I knit for like 10 minutes on my lunch break because right now I took a shorter lunch break so that I can leave work earlier. It's nice because then I have more, like I have a larger chunk of time at the end of the day, but I still always feel like I'm rushing. Maybe I have too much on my plate. I don't know. People constantly tell me I have too much on my plate. But I love it. And our dogs are losing their marbles. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness. I don't know why she's losing her mind, but she is. Okay. Anyway, other work in progress. So the other work in progress is a new pattern that is using wool from an advent that I did. It's Melly Knit's handspun advent, her True North advent. I am using the True North advent bag that came in, which is really beautiful with the artwork that inspired the advent. And I'm actually knitting with it, which is so much fun to knit with handspun. I love knitting with handspun. As I mentioned in my frame sweater, I'm working with CVM fleece in that one. This is just tons of different wools. And what I'm actually using, so this is a new to me designer. I'm familiar with her hand-dyed yarn. So Ruby and Roses yarn. She's a young maker that is doing quite a good job for herself, I have to say, as a indie dyer, and she has started doing some pattern designing over the years, and this is one of the patterns that she came out with. She did a sale a while back and I decided to purchase it. I really admired the pattern. It looks really beautiful, so I decided to jump for it and see how it works. So it's called the Fascination Shawl. If I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, hopefully you can see it. I don't know if this is actually all in frame or not. But it is considered a complex pattern, and I can see that. There's a lot going on. It's really fun. I know she used a like speckled yarn and everything, which is really neat. It is really neat. And obviously she's the designer, so she can choose what she wants to do. But for me, as someone who wants to see the patterning and actually see the texture stitches that I'm making, I am working with solid colors, or primarily solid colors. My one thing so far, so I've only worked on this very shortly. I'm at the very beginning, and like I'm on row 60, and I have to say my biggest frustration so far, I really like that she has boxes so you can check off like each row that you're doing and the repeats and everything. That's really nice. But the hardest part for me is that the pattern came with a bunch of tutorials attached to it. And I don't know if it's tutorials she made or if they're links to tutorials that she found that other people made. I really don't know. And the reason I say that is because I clicked on these links. Now this is purchased through Ravelry, but all of the links that I clicked on, they're not links. Like you can't click on them, which is a little frustrating. I have to say, I understand that's kind of like a bonus, but there are a lot of people, like Andrew Mowry does it a lot. If there's techniques and things like that in a pattern, she shows you how to do it, especially if it's kind of a more unique technique. Like this has a bobble stitch in it, and I looked up a bobble stitch. I hadn't done one in a while, so I was trying to remember how to do it. The thing is there's lots of different ways to do a bobble stitch, and based on the different ways you're doing it, you may or may not possibly use more yarn. And so that would affect your yardage. And so that's probably my only beef so far. I really don't like to complain about things, especially for designers. I so respect the hard work that goes into designing patterns. There is so much hard work that goes into it, test knitting, all of that. So that's my biggest thing so far that's just a little frustrating. I did reach out to Addie of Ruby and Roses via her email that's on here. I haven't heard back yet, so I'm going to maybe send a follow-up. It's just been a couple days, but I kind of wanted to know, I mean, I guess the thing for me is that if you include links to tutorials in a pattern that's paid for, see, that's the part. If it's a pattern that's paid for, which this is, then I feel like part of the purchase is that you're paying for the tutorials as well as the pattern. That could just be me. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I'd love to hear in the comments below. But I have no problem looking for tutorials to how to do the technique she's talking about. The thing is that I'd like to learn how to do it the way she intended the pattern to be done. So I guess that's my one thing so far that I've found a little frustrating about it. But other than that, it's quite fun so far. So I am on my second color. I got my first one done. So my first day was, let me see if I can find it in here. Did I completely bury it? Possibly. Of course I did. It's probably like completely buried. Oh yeah, it's probably totally buried. Wait, here's one of them. Day 2. I've got day 2. Where did my day 1 go? Here it is. Day 1. All right. Day 1 is the Manitoba wool. It's Polypay and Rambouillet mix, which was really, really nice to spin. And I got about 40 yards, so it was a pretty hefty spin, but it was quite thin in areas. So the pattern calls for basically like a sport weight, like fingering weight is what it calls for. But I decided it was close enough to fingering to make it work. So hopefully you guys can see this. I've got this beautiful bobble texture here, which was a lot of fun to do. I don't know if this is how she made her bobbles because, like I said, I couldn't get the links to work. And then we have the lace over here. And then there's some fun stitching starting to happen here. I am now just starting to do a cable repeat. Try to cover my eyes so that you guys could hopefully see it. But it's so, so pretty. And I'm now just starting to work into the next color, which day 2 is BFL Dorset Clung Forest. So that was a huge blend, and it's absolutely beautiful. I love this color so much. So I hope you guys can see that. It's stunning. Absolutely stunning. It's kind of a little, I think the, yeah, if I remember correctly, the blend, the actual wool blend, is like a cream color, and then that kind of peachy color is from the very light brown, what do you want to call it? Alpaca, because it's an alpaca blend that's in there, and that was 90 yards. So I got a lot more yardage out of this one, and you can see how beautifully floofy that yarn is. I love it. So it's definitely not, I wouldn't say it's it's probably not considered a fingering weight, but it's just going to be a really heavy duty knit. So I'm using, I think it's a size 5 needles, and yeah, it's really fun so far. I'm really enjoying it, but as I mentioned, that was my biggest frustration so far, is that there's not really, the links don't work. And that's part of what I feel you kind of pay for when you get a pattern that has links in it. So I really hope that she'll get back to me with those links, because I think that would be just really helpful, because that's part of the pattern. Anyway, that's my biggest thing with that. And, oh, thank you. I left part of my yarn out in the living room. My husband just threw it in. It was very kind of him. I leave a trail. Wherever I go, guys, I leave a trail of wool. All right. So that is that work in progress. All right, now I want to talk a little bit about my new fleece. So if you follow me on Instagram, then you probably already saw a little bit of this. If you don't, you should, because I'm trying to do little videos like this, a little bit more kind of insight into things. But this is probably going to make a big mess if I'm not careful. So this fleece right here is washed, and it is a, to my knowledge, 100% Suffolk. It's a gray Suffolk. It's really, really pretty. But it is quite dirty. It's clean, but it's dirty with veggie matter. So it is clean. I processed this last summer, and it's now needing to be like hand picked. So I'll show you the kind of those 2 steps, and then from there I will then card it on my drum carder, and that will be a woolen prep, so that I can spin it like long draw and have all that nice fluff in there. So this is what it looks like, and hopefully you'll be able to see that veggie matter, because I've got that wonderful zooming lens, which is actually quite nice, and I'm grateful that you guys told me it's working well. So you can see all those little bits and specks and things and such. That's all hay and like bits of grass and stuff like that that's in that fleece. Now it's a really pretty gray. It has some slight tonality to it. There's some variegation. So that's why I am going to hand pick it, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So this is a huge fleece. It's over 5 pounds of fleece, so it will take me a long time to pick it, because I hand pick it. I don't use a picker. You can make a picking machine, and it looks really wicked with all these little nails sticking out, and it basically pulls the wool apart. It's very aggressive, so you just have to be careful which fleeces you put through something like that. So I hand pick it because I want to be kinder to the fleece. It is not kinder to my hands, technically, but this is a perfect example of I call it like in the cloud, where it's been picked. So you take a lock, which I don't really want to per se grab one of these, because I'm going to get veggie matter everywhere, but here you go. So here's a lock, just fresh off the cleaned fleece. And there's still a little veggie matter in there. Actually, there's perfect. There's a little piece of hay right in the middle there. But you can see how it's pretty densely pushed together. So that's how it is, like directly off of the fleece. And then what I do is I take each little piece and I just kind of pull it apart. And as I pull it apart, so here's one that is not totally done perfect. I can show you right here in the live time. So here is one that still needs to be opened up. I did this really quick yesterday, and this piece still needed to be done a little bit further. So all I do is just pull it apart. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. I'm trying to cover my eyes, because if I cover my eyes, it doesn't seem to zoom in on my face. So you probably can't see this, but there is a bunch of little bits and bobs of dirt just kind of plopping off of there. And now that is a cloud right there. So this is what I would put in my drum carder, and then it carts it up, and then you can spin from it. You can technically spin it from this, but getting it in a nice bat just makes it so much easier. So this is a nice big fluffy bowl of cloud fluff of picked wool. So this, I would have to weigh this, and when I get 100 grams done, that's what I would put in a bat. So one idea that I wanted to run past you guys, and I also wanted to put a poll out on Instagram. So I was really curious if any of you would be interested in wool that has been cleaned but isn't processed yet. So in other words, you would be buying it like this. So it's been cleaned, but it hasn't been picked. It hasn't been put through a drum carder. So the cost would be lower because you're doing the work that I would be doing normally. So just curious if that would be something anyone would be interested in doing, trying their hand at doing a little bit more hand processing. You wouldn't need to have certain tools to do that, and it can be as simple as I've heard people using dog brushes before to flick open the locks and then spin from that. So really, on the most basic level, I guess you really only need like a little flicker brush that you can, like a dog flicker brush, and then you can spin directly from that. So you would need either a drop spindle or something to spin it, of course, but to actually process that, that's really all you would need, technically speaking. But if you do have like hand carders or a drum carder, things like that, it's kind of a fun, like choose your own adventure kind of thing, because if you get that kind of wool, you can buy the bat and also do your own blends. But also, if you want the adventure of hand picking a fleece, which I don't know, I kind of enjoy that a little bit. There's just days where that is, again, meditative. I was just curious if that'd be something you're interested in. Otherwise, I love to process them, and then I will sell them processed and fully ready to spin. But I just thought maybe that some of you might like that idea as well. So just throwing that out there. Definitely let me know in the comments below if you're interested in something like that. But yeah, so that's a little bit of inside scoop into the process that goes into this. I'm hoping now that I have a new camera, which that will be an interesting feat, I will probably have to see if I can recruit my husband to be my cameraman, because when I clean the fleece, doing like the suet method, when it's soaking and everything, that's a really, really dirty process. And again, I kind of semi-enjoy it. It's a little weird, but but it's really dirty, really dirty. So I wouldn't want to be touching the camera while I'm doing that. And yeah, that would be a little tricky for me to do while I'm showing you guys. So I'd have to see if maybe he'd be available to do that. And that would be closer to the warmer months, because that method takes soaking time outside with warm temperatures. So I would need temperatures in the high 70s to low 80s as my average daily temperature. And that is ideal for that, basically, for lack of better words, ruminating little vat that goes on with the fleece in there, and it helps. It basically uses, sounds so weird, but like the sweat of the sheep and it kind of becomes soapy. It's really bizarre, and it helps get the dirt and grime and really creepy stuff off of the fleece. Now, really, when I skirt a fleece, I get the creepy stuff off already, but when you soak it in that, it really gets a lot of the dirt off. It's kind of crazy. So, but it does not get rid of all the veggie matter, as you can see. But a lot of it left. And then when I put it through the drum carder, even more will come out of this. So it's better to weigh it at this point than directly from the fleece, because directly from the fleece, there's still quite a bit of veggie matter, and that does affect the weight of that fleece. So I don't want you paying for veggie matter. I want you to be paying for wool. So yeah, I think that is about it. I don't know if I had anything else related to the wooliness. I have been working on some hand spinning of some dyed fiber that I got. It's a BFL silk blend from, I think it's hens-n-chicksfiberarts. I am working on one of her braids that I got, and it's really fun. It's so pretty. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it yet, but I'm going to do, other than I'm going to do a 2-ply. Pretty sure it's going to be a 2-ply. And that way I could use it for color work in a sweater or something at some point, or something else. Who knows? I just wanted to have fun. I just wanted to have fun spinning that. So I'm doing it, and I'm trying to work again through the beautiful fibers that I have stashed. And then I also, of course, want to work with some of my bats that I have in the shop currently to show you guys examples of what it is like spun up. That's the hard part when you are a one-person show. You do everything. So trying to do the processing and then also hand spinning to show you guys. Yeah, I need to get on that. So that's another thing I would like to do, so that you guys can see what it looks like. And I also want to start processing the beautiful Shetland fleeces that came off of our girls. So I recently posted on Facebook and Instagram that we did shear the sheep, which is so amazing, and it feels really good that we were able to do that. And I have 3 beautiful fleeces now that I need to process. I'm not in a massive hurry because I want to take my time and do it the way I want to, but it is hard because I want to work with them so badly. They're so beautiful, and oh goodness, yeah, really pretty fleeces. So we have a medium, I'd say she's kind of a medium light gray, that's Chanterelle, and then Veiled Lady, she is a light gray, and then Amanita is, I think she kind of leans more fawn coloring, like she's a very light brown. It's interesting because, you know, right now she looks very cream in color, but when you actually look at her wool up close, there's light brown and cream colors together. So it's really pretty. So I'm excited to work with each one of those fleeces, and they're decent sized fleeces, so I could easily make a sweater out of each one, which I really would like to do. They're lamb fleece, so it's their first fleece, and that's just really exciting. So that's a project for another day, but it's like in my wheelhouse. This is what's going on in my head at all times. It's no wonder I feel a little overwhelmed, but because I want to do all of these things at the same time. But yeah, that's going on in my head. And then, yeah, I need to pick a lot of fleeces. I need to get a lot of fleeces picked so that I can card them. And also, if you're interested in the unpicked fleeces, let me know, because if you are, then I can start to divide some up for that as well, because I have a lot to get through so that I can make room for more fleeces, because I'm already researching how to get my hands on more fleeces. And I'm really, again, focusing on local if I can. So I'm really trying to get fleeces from farms in my area or like in Michigan. So that's really exciting. So I'm trying to source some right now. I have a few that I have reached out to that I've heard back from, and I'm excited about that. So yeah, lots of fun, exciting things in the future. It's just time consuming, and I want to have things done like now, but it's going to be, it's going to be, it's going to be out in the future. But all good things, all good things. So I'd love to hear what you guys are up to. I'd love to hear what you're making. And yeah, I hope you guys are well. I hope you're healthy. And I hope you're making. And I look forward to chatting with you soon. Take care.